I need to make 3 costume pieces to be Hipster Ariel in a play, and I'm using these 3 t-shirts to do it. The purple shirt will become my seashell bandeau top.
Do I look like a girl who cares that people look at me funny? Happy snipping!
You can find the basic idea for how to do the bandeau top in Megan Nicolay's first book, Generation T. Project 43, Bandeau, James Bandeau. You're basically just cutting a basic strip and then tying it together, ruching it together, doing whatever you want to pull it together in the middle. So I'm starting with this basic purple, it's actually a little boy's soccer shirt that I got at a garage sale years ago. I'm starting with this one because it's already small enough that this will be pretty much my size, and just a little bit of tying together will tighten it to fit around me. Obviously, if you're a little bit bigger than I am, you just go ahead and use a bigger shirt. You can always use a shirt that's much bigger and then cut it down to size to fit you. Or, as the tutorial actually recommends, you would use a long, wide strip and then cut it in half and actually tie it in a bow behind you to tighten it. So I am using this small shirt, and she recommends 6 to 8 inches wide of a strip, or 10 to 12 inches for the better endowed. I know that I need at least this wide of a strip to cover my chest, so I'm going to do a little bit wider than that just to make it safe. I'm going to go ahead and cut a straight line directly across my shirt. Oh, goodbye, little shirt. I've had you in the box waiting to be used for years and years, and I knew you'd come in handy. And now for the purposes of this project, go ahead and discard the top portion, set it aside for another project later. Again, if you're using a longer strip, the next thing you would want to do is cut through the top layer so that you have a long piece. For me, I'm going to leave it together for the purposes of this project because I'm not going to have a strip to tie together. So now I'm actually going to go try it on. You can cut off the bottom hem, but I'm actually going to keep the hem. What I'm going to do is try this on to see what else needs done. Okay, see, so I can leave it this length and have it be like a tube top type thing, but I actually wanted it to be more of a bikini top, so now I know that I have to cut several inches off because I overestimated. And then it's going to be this loose, so then I know that I can do some fun decorative stuff with this part in the middle to tighten it. If you cut it in half and it's long enough, you can tie it in a knot in the front to secure it, and that can be your fastener as well as your decoration. So let's go cut this smaller. That's a little bit better. I might actually want it shorter, but I'm also going to be bunching it together, so we'll see. I saved the strip that I cut off of it, so I can just demonstrate one way that you can do this right now. You can cut this into one big strip, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to keep it together. I'm just going to thread it through here, wrap it like this, and tie it. And that's one way to secure your ruching in the middle. And then in the back it's still too big, so you could cut that and tie it together, pin it together, do whatever you want to do. I think that for my purposes though, because I need to be able to slip in and out of this comfortably, it is t-shirt material, so it does stretch, so I could cut it, sew it, tie it tight, and then just slip it on and off. But I think just because this is a costume piece, I am going to cut it in half, fix it so that it's tight, but use this extra piece and cut it in strips to use as a lace so I can tie it up with a bow. And that'll also create my ruching effect in the middle that I want to have kind of the sweetheart neckline type thing going on. But it'll also make it possible for me to loosen it so that I can take it off easily. I just cut off a little extra because I wanted it a little bit more narrow, and I used the extra piece to pull tight. This will be my lace. Pull that nice and tight, make a string out of it. There's your lace. But so what I need to do is cut this. And because it's a loop, there's no seam, you can cut it wherever you want. If your shirt has side seams, go ahead and cut on the seam so that you can take that seam out of there. So what I'm going to do is cut right there. I'm going to try it on me one more time to find out how much I need to cut. So I just did that by holding it in the middle and overlapping it to the tightest position that I want it, and then I'm going to cut it off there. So this is how much I need to cut off to make it the tightest that I need it. Then what I'm going to do is on each end, I'm going to cut little holes along the side. If you have metal eyelets that you want to go ahead and punch in there and finish these edges and all that fancy stuff, feel free. I'm not worried about that for this project. You can do that if you like, and I'm going to make the holes in about ½ an inch just to be safe. Notice I'm not really measuring this out, I'm just eyeballing it. You can feel free to measure it out and be as official as you want. I'm going for a very do-it-yourself look. It's kind of how I do most things. And then I'm just tugging this a little bit to define where those cuts are that I made. Hope you can see those. I made 6, so I want to make sure that I make them about evenly spaced on the other side. Go ahead and use this as a reference. And I'm using the scissors just to poke through to make sure it's wide enough. 5, and then 6 right up below the hem. Another thing you can do with something like this is thread it through that hem. If you are keeping the hem, that's hollow, so you could thread that through there and use it as a drawstring. Let's take this back to the bathroom. Let me show you how to put it on. So here we go with the right side facing out, which you can tell by the hem. Putting it around my back, holding it here. My tie is going to be in the middle. You can do yours in the back, on the side, whatever you want to do. Take your lace, I'm going to thread it through one of my bottom holes, through the other side. Match the ends together. This is just like you're lacing up a bodice or a shoe. Match up the ends, bring it to the middle. I want the middle of the lace at my center point there. And then, just like a shoe, you're going to crisscross and lace up. You can go over or under, over and under, alternating, whatever you want. Now again, of course, I'm going for a hipster Little Mermaid type look here, so I chose purple because that's what color her top is. But you can do this with a different color, you can do it with a pattern, whatever you want. Depending on the way you lace it, also when you get to the top, you can either have the bow be on the outside or have the bow be on the inside and tuck it in, if you don't want the bow to be showing on the outside. Alright, now that I've got it all laced, we're going to tighten it up. Pulling on all. Just keep adjusting it until you've got it as tight as you want it. If you're going for a little risque look, you can leave it a little looser so that your skin shows through if you're wearing it by itself, or the color of your shirt underneath it. Then I'm just going to lace it up. Tie it in a bow, I mean. I'm folding down that hem because I don't like the way that kind of turned out. I'll probably go back and lace this even tighter so it bunches up a little bit more in the middle because I really want it to have that look. Or another thing I could do is after I tie it, I can tie this down here, lace it through. Come on. Pull it through. And then that just bunches it even more so. So whatever's comfortable for you, whatever look you need. And then it's a little more coverage in the back. So you can mess around with it once you have it on, figure it out, what you want from it. And hey, it matches this cute hat that Sheldon made me. That's the top. Please click on the annotations if you want to see the tutorials for the other 2 costume pieces that I'm making for this costume. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Happy snipping.